This episode of the D-Lew podcast is brought to you by Happy Wrap. You ever wanted to design your very own gift wrapping paper? Now is your chance to do so. Whether it's for the holiday season, weddings, anniversaries, birthdays, no matter what the occasion calls for, you can use Happy Wrap to wrap your gifts. As a matter of fact, you can even design notebooks, greeting cards, gift tags, and so much more. You can sign up today at happy.thedlewpodcast.com and use the promo code DLEW to get your 10% discount at checkout. Again, that's happy.thedlewpodcast.com and use promo code DLEW to get your 10% discount at checkout. By Simpler Hair Color. Hey guys, are you tired of using that drugstore hair dye brand that isn't getting the job done? If you want to use a great product to cover those grays, have no fear, Simpler Hair Color is here. No mixing, no dripping, no mess. It's super easy to use, whether you're a beginner or a pro. Go to simpler.thedlewpodcast.com and use promo code DLEW10 for your 10% discount at checkout. Again, that's simpler.thedlewpodcast.com and use my promo code DLEW10 for your 10% discount at checkout. And by WWE Shop with Fanatics. Get your favorite WWE superstars merchandise and wear them proud with superstars like the OTC Roman Reigns, Rhea Ripley, the Second City Saint CM Punk, John Cena, Main Event Jey Uso, the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes, and so many more. Oh, by the way, they got some really cool championship belts in there as well. So go to wrestling.thedlewpodcast.com. Again, that's wrestling.thedlewpodcast.com so you can go to WWE Shop with Fanatics. This podcast is a Believe Network and Siete production. Welcome to another edition of the D-Lew podcast powered by Believe Network. I'm your host, Derrick T. Lewis, and this was a definitely well-deserved 2-week hiatus that I needed to take, just to relax and kick back and just enjoy life. And like I said, podcasting is great, podcasting is fun, but again, we as human beings, we definitely need, to chill out a little bit. And while I was, on my hiatus, the world of professional wrestling did lose an iconic figure last Thursday. I'm referring to Hulk Hogan. Now, for those that have been listening to this show, I did not refer to him by name, for a lot of reasons. And there were some things that he said verbally that I was just like heartbroken. I was really upset about what he said. I was upset that there was not really an apology initially after he was given the opportunity to apologize. But that's why I was torn. Because did I cry when I heard about that? Admittedly, I did. I did because as a kid growing up in Newark, New Jersey, many, many years ago, and my story's been out there, I've talked about it for years, how, you know, my dad was not in my life. And what that meant was that other things had to fill that void, and professional wrestling were one of those things that filled the void of a father that was not there. And I'm not speaking ill of my father. As a matter of fact, and I'm recording this today, he would have been his 83rd birthday. I miss you, Dad. I love you. But back on topic, Hulk Hogan was my hero. Hulk Hogan filled that void. So back then, every, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, all the promos he would cut, on Superstars of Wrestling, Wrestling Challenge, you know, once a month, because I was living in North Jersey. I had access to the Madison Square Garden Network. I actually watched all the WWF house shows when they would go to the Garden once a month on a Monday night. And I actually saw him beat the Iron Sheik January the 24th, 1984 for the WWF Championship. I saw that match and I was hooked to Hulkamania instantly. And to see what he did his entire career in the ring cannot be denied. Everything that he did in the ring back then was unparalleled. He opened a lot of doors, in regards to how wrestling became global. When he was a part of the national expansion in '84, when Vince McMahon, obviously saw a vision of taking pro wrestling out of the smoke-filled arenas and, taking it to the bigger arenas with the big lights and got every wrestler around the territories, the good wrestlers around the territories, and took them from all these other promoters and created the WWF in that national expansion. And Hulk Hogan was leading the way. Hulk Hogan was the main attraction when they ran those A, B, and C towns, and Hogan was on those A cards. You wanted to make sure you were on those A cards if you were a wrestler, because that's where the most money was being made, because Hulk Hogan was on the card. I can't deny that. I can't deny how, whenever, if you really think about it, WrestleManias 1 through 9, he was a part of the main, he was really the main event. With the exception of WrestleMania 4, when he, was the tournament, Macho Man and Ted DiBiase was in the finals of that match, but Hulk Hogan was still involved in that match. So I can't deny the greatness of what he did in wrestling, but at the same token, the things that he said really, really took and kind of ripped all of that away from me. But I never wish those type of things on anyone. I My heart goes out to his daughter, Brooke, his son, Nick, and, all the boys and the girls who shared the locker room with him, who worked with him, that were friends with him. They're going through it, especially Jimmy Hart. So I just hope that, all those wounds can heal from that, and we can definitely all move forward from there. And like I said, his legacy, especially in the WWE, will live forever. Hulkamania will live forever in the WWE and around the world, in the world of professional wrestling. But this week, the matriarch of the D-Lew podcast, Gabi, is back, and we're going to break down SummerSlam. Both nights of SummerSlam this coming weekend. That's going to emanate from MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey, which I will be in attendance, guys. I will be there. So if you're listening to this show and if you happen to be at SummerSlam, I hope to run into you in the parking lot during tailgating time, and it's going to be a wonderful time. We're also going to talk about the new series that's on Netflix. It's a multi-part docuseries called Unreal, where they really take you behind the curtain of what's really going on in the world of the WWE. And let's not wait any longer. The SummerSlam preview show with me and Gabi starts right now. Well, ladies and gentlemen, man, I needed this 2 weeks off to just really just relax, because I did a lot of traveling, such as this young lady. Of course, she's the matriarch of the D-Lew podcast. Whenever we talk about pro wrestling, the one and only Gabi. Gabi, how are you?
I'm great. I'm exhausted, but I'm great.
Yeah, I'm saying. So, like I said, I needed, some time to just relax, because you figure you went to Atlanta, I went to Texas, and just with all the traveling and just sometimes you need to just kind of just put, the social media down, the podcast down for a little bit. It'll always be here. So I needed this time off to just kind of just relax, unwind, and we're back. We're back with a vengeance. But of course, as I alluded to, you went to WWE's Evolution in Atlanta. So talk about your journey to Atlanta, what you did, things you saw, the whole nine yards.
Atlanta was an insane experience. I definitely encourage people to go to wrestling events by themselves. So at first I was nervous about it because I lived with
Hmm.
myself.
Hmm.
I was my grandparents from Atlanta, so like I'm very familiar with them, not a problem. But just being
Hmm.
somewhere different by yourself. Um, Come to find out, like everything was in my hotel. So like
Hmm.
I didn't know this when I booked it, but when I booked it, they had a superstore in it, the meet and greets, and I was like maybe 10 feet. Like I stepped up, so I was outside of my hotel and I hit a quick right. I was right at the arena. So like everything was right
Wow.
there. So
Hmm.
super convenient. Like there were no Ubers besides like to the airport back and forth. Like I did
Right,
not
right, right,
really
right,
need
right.
to Uber around. Because they had Beyonce and Tell, they had MLB weekend. There was so many things going on. Like I kind of just wanted to stay like stationed in my area. Um, but it was a great experience. I did the priority pass beforehand. So we had like the pre-show party where we had unlimited drinks, food. We had legends, we had current wrestlers. It was a great experience overall. Like I definitely encourage people to kind of step outside their comfort zone and go to more events by yourself if you so choose.
Yeah, like that's I've experienced that a dozen times where I've literally gone to shows alone, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
It just got to mingle with other fans, from other
Hmm.
states, other countries, you know what I'm saying? And it's a beautiful thing, and I'm glad you got to experience that. Of course, taking pictures with the Queen, Charlotte Flair, yet again, which is
My
awesome.
girl.
That's right. So huge shout out to Charlotte Flair. And while you were in Atlanta, I was a few hundred miles away from you in Dallas, Texas. Me and the Queen. I brought her with me, and she wanted to go to Texas. I'm like, "Oh, let's go to Texas." And it was a last minute situation. I found out from AEW about a week before All In that they had
Hmm.
provided me press credentials for All In, and so huge shout out to AEW once again for hooking me up. Friday we land at 8 a.m. We go to the
Hmm.
hotel. She's like, "Well, it's time for you to go to work." So I went to Starcast. And I think outside I saw MVP, Bobby Lashley, and Shelton Benjamin, better known as the Hurt Syndicate. And it was nice to see them. There was a few others. I ran into Prince Nana. Huge
Hmm.
shout out to Prince Nana. Awesome dude. There was a few. Tony Storm walked past me. Swerve Strickland. So many. And I actually did the Wrestle Aunts, I think brunch with Renee Paquette and RJ City, and
Hmm.
it was a big bill. He did a stand up set for like 10 minutes. Willow Nightingale did she had an interview, but before that, she actually did a Eddie Kingston type promo, which I thought was quite entertaining.
Nice.
And of course, the AEW Women's World Champion Timeless Tony Storm and Luther were also a guest. And you can see those exclusively on my YouTube channel. So make sure you guys go do that. But then, of course, later on at Starcast, I went and saw a bunch of people. I took a picture with Adam Cole, having no idea of what he was going to reveal the next day at All In. It was,
Hmm.
man, I feel horrible for him, and I hope prayers and thoughts go out to Adam Cole for healing energies for sure. But there was just so many people. Obviously Jay Lethal, your boy. You know what I mean? Jay Lethal got a chance to chop it up with him. Double J, I had a chance to talk to him. You know what I mean? So it was just an incredible experience. And obviously going to All In the next day. Um, Number one, just seeing my name and this podcast name on the credential was like, damn, this is really, really cool. So
Hmm.
it wasn't just about me. This is about you. You're a part of this. So the fact that I had the D-Lew Podcast Believe Network, a show that we're doing together, and I got to represent us, it was awesome. And then of course, this was on in the press box when I got there, when I got to my seat at the press box, this was waiting for me. And I'm just like, what? I couldn't believe it. And initially, I wasn't supposed to attend the media scrum because they were just overcrowded. Then I think by the time maybe a couple matches before the main event, they told us, "Hey, you can come." So I was there and got the first question of the media scrum. So that was my experience in Dallas. Like it was, of course, some quality time with the Queen, but she also understood, hey, you're here working, this is just awesome.
Hmm.
She did some shopping, so she got some satisfaction out of that. But that was, experiences. So again, you got the experience, representing Lip Gloss and Lattice in this show. Then of course I had to go to Dallas and do that. So it was a huge, busy wrestling weekend. I mean, my goodness.
Hmm.
You were bound to run into a wrestler no matter where you were in the town, for
Absolutely.
sure.
Yeah, for sure.
But obviously, we're talking about SummerSlam, the hottest weekend of the summer, not the hottest night of the summer, because now SummerSlam is now 2 nights instead of one. But before we do that, and before we break down the card, WWE has a new documentary. It's a 6-part docuseries out entitled Unreal, and I'm torn for so many reasons.
Same.
And I'll give you the floor in just a second. Now, we all know, us hardcore wrestling fans, we all know that pro wrestling is a predetermined sports and entertainment exhibition. We understand that. It's obviously covered with storylines and, a bunch of storyboard and all these things. We see that. But That's our little secret. You know what I mean? We
Hmm.
can suspend disbelief, and really get really into these stories and get into these storylines and where
Hmm.
it's going to lead to. But now that they're letting the cat out of the bag, the magician is showing the trick. It's kind of it's kind of got me upset a little bit. I'm not going to lie to you. Talk to me.
So I, like you, am a little torn. So we all know what it is, right? We're all adults. We
Yeah.
understand what it is. But like you said, you suspend disbelief, right?
Hmm.
Um, I have not watched it because I haven't had time.
Same here. I
Um,
haven't.
and I do plan on trying to watch it, I'll say. But I also want to watch it in a block of time where I can like truly like focus and look at what I'm looking at. I don't want to like watch it while I'm working or like watch it in
For
between
sure.
work. I
For sure.
truly
For
want to
sure.
like I did with the BKM thing. Like I truly want to sit and watch this, right?
For sure.
But I'm torn because it's like the clips that I've seen, you're giving me in like the writing room and like you're doing a lot. Now, if this was
Hmm.
more like wrestling, like backstage interactions between the talent and things like that, I'd be like, okay, that's cool. Like, I would love to see,
Right.
Bianca and Rhea map out a match. That actually sounds cool, right?
Hmm.
But I don't think we need to necessarily be in the boardroom. I don't think we need to be in the writer's room. I don't think there are certain, like, I don't know, just I'm torn because like I think certain things of the business are cool. Something that I just feel like should be left unsaid. And I know AEW tried it before when they had their show, and I didn't. It didn't. That didn't hit for me either. I don't know. I'm gonna
Hmm.
watch it, but I'm not thrilled that they pulled the curtain back this much. Like again, like I'm okay with like certain things and seeing them backstage and like sure, seeing Gorilla, sure.
Yeah.
But the clip that I saw of them like in the writing room and pitching ideas, I was like, ooh, I feel like this is a bit much. But again, I've seen it out of context, right? So there's always context to these things. So maybe in context this will make more sense to me. I'm hoping. But like I'm just kinda I'll watch it.
Well, WWE, their business model has always been we have to gain a new fan every day,
Yep.
right? They know we're going to be there. They know we're going to be around. But I think
Hmm.
when you have a fan that's never watched, let me see what this WWE thing's about, and then they say, "Ooh, they gained a new fan."
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Think about now them being on Netflix with Monday Night Raw. How many fans? They said that consistently they've been the top rated like stream show on Netflix since they went
I believe
on
it.
in January. You know what I'm saying? Because now you
Hmm.
got people going back to watch it a gazillion times. But the one thing that was crazy that seeing it was I believe it was that Elimination Chamber and they were all the guys that were in the men's chamber were going over the match and what do I see? CM Punk and Seth Rollins in the same circle together. I'm like, I kind of figured they hashed things out. I just didn't want to see them together.
That's what I mean. Where I guess certain things you're just like keep hope alive, right? Like I don't need to
Right,
see
because
all
I
of these
literally,
things.
people were
Like
thinking that Seth hated this guy, but then Punk's talking about, hey, you could do this to me and do this to me. And Seth's like laughing and like, yeah, 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 that's a great idea. And I'm just like, damn.
same thing with Rhea and Liv.
Right.
Everyone's like, oh no, they legitimately hate each other. It's like, okay,
No,
okay,
but this goes to show you that Punk, and I think they realized, okay, let's make some money off this. They want to say that
let's do the
Punk was
business.
this, that is Punk this, is this like absolute like monster of a human being or whatever the case. And if anything else, he's pitching ideas that like the one part that I saw that really drew me in was when Punk was about to walk out at WrestleMania and
Hmm.
Triple H saw him like getting a little worked up, and Triple H had to remind him, you've always been a main eventer." And Punk said, I appreciate that it came that you really said that." You know what I mean? I'm just like,
Hmm.
damn. So what really pisses me off though about that though is that the non CM Punk fans are going to sit there and say, "Oh, he's a bootlicker, he's an ass kisser, he's a sellout, he's only acting like this, so he this is his last chance." I'm like, so if he crashes out, then what?
Right,
Are you satiated? So it's like you can never ever do enough. Oh, that wasn't the main event. That was just a halftime show. Just shut up and enjoy the show.
right. I
Seriously.
agree.
There was a main event of night one. There's a main event at night two.
Hmm.
Okay. So are you gonna diminish The Rock and Roman? against Cody and Seth from WrestleMania 40? Are you going to diminish that main event? Because that was the main event of night one,
Mm-hmm.
Mania 40.
Mm-hmm.
So come on, cry me a river, seriously.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna watch it, and maybe at some point you and I can revisit this and talk about what we just how we internalize it and just what this means going forward. Will there be a season two to this?
Mm-hmm.
You never know. You never know. We're gonna tie a bow on that, and now we're gonna talk about SummerSlam. Again, it's 2 nights at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey, and the last time I checked on WrestleTix, I believe I'm not sure, but they're close to about 45,000 that they're going to have maybe each night. So you're talking about potentially 90,000 seats because obviously they're not going to be using the entire stadium. They're going to use a
Right.
portion of it, but nonetheless, 90,000 seats,
Mm-hmm.
90,000 tickets are sold. So for people to say, "Oh, the Fed is dead," or "the Fed is," stop it, stop it. Like there's no need. Like they're going out of their way and they're saying, you know what, we're gonna have these 2 night events now, and people are gonna buy tickets,
Mm-hmm.
and we're gonna, you know what I mean, we're gonna sell out what we put out. So who
Mm-hmm.
knows? But I would imagine it's probably going to be close to 45,000 people each night
Mm-hmm.
for SummerSlam at MetLife Stadium. So there's no particular order in regards to these matches how I'm seeing them right now, but I'll try my best to do. The first match is Sami Zayn versus Karrion Kross with Scarlett. Now, there's been rumors out there that the WWE hasn't given Karrion Kross a contract, which I find very hard to believe. I believe they're working us because they're selling his merchandise at shows now,
Mm-hmm.
and he has new merch. I can't see Karrion Kross losing this match. If he loses this match, then the rumors could be true. I don't know. Your thoughts?
He's not losing. I hope this is I hope this is the end of the series, but I don't think he's losing. I hope this is the match that pushes him into like where he needs to be, where he deserves to be on the card. But I don't see him losing.
I saw something online and it wasn't a rumor. It wasn't a rumor. It was somebody was thinking. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
thinking this could be the thing too. There was a rumor that the tag team from Ring of Honor known as the Righteous
Mm-hmm.
had signed with WWE. Somebody had said, "Wait a minute. What if they come and help Karrion Kross win the match?" And now he
Hmm.
has his own faction.
I could see him being a leader of a faction. I can see it.
With those two guys, and I've actually worked with the Righteous. They're really, really good guys, by the way. They're really, really good guys. I've worked with them before. And if them and they and Karrion Kross could be a nice faction, I could totally see that. And if
Hmm.
anything else, I could totally see because right now there's a 3-man faction with Rollins, Bronson Reed, and Braun Breaker. I mean, if I could move Karrion Kross to Smack and those guys to SmackDown, if that happens, I'd like to see that.
Yeah, for sure. Me
They
too.
will really get the TV time versus with Seth and those guys and Heyman, they're gonna have the bulk of the load. So I mean,
Hmm.
it's hard to say, but I could totally see that happen. But I have Karrion Kross winning this match as well. We have a tag team match with Roman Reigns and Jey Uso taking on Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. First and foremost, I got to talk about this. This past Monday Night Raw, when Bronson Reed took the sneakers off of Roman Reigns. Now, I'm going to have this disclaimer, guys. People don't understand what this means. Bully Ray was on Busted Open Radio the other day. He didn't understand the significance of it. See, in the culture, in the culture, when you get your chain snatch and when you get robbed of your kicks, that means you got punked. That's pretty much what it is. It's a symbolism of you got punked. I beat your ass. I loved it. You know what I mean? Because Bronson Reed's a sneakerhead. Roman's a sneakerhead. So when it happened, I'm like, yo, he took his sneakers off.
It was perfect.
Oh my God. And then you have Braun Breaker going into Scott Steiner move. He was like, I'm gonna get his fat ass. Now, for those that don't know, if you guys can look up I believe it was Victory Road 2008, I think, or 2007, when the Steiner brothers was wrestling Team 3D, and the Steiner brothers hadn't wrestled together in so long, and this was in TNA.
Hmm.
And Scott Steiner said, "I'm gonna get splinters out of your fat asses because you got some fat asses." Oh my god! And of course, Scott Steiner doesn't like fat people. He's like, he's fat, you know. And Braun, I just love it. So, is it me, or has Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed kind of are they're shining more
Yeah,
without Seth Rollins?
yeah, agreed.
Because this is a little bit more serious now. Because with Rollins, he's doing the ha 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 the laugh, but there's no laughing matter with these two guys.
Hmm.
There's no laughing matter. And I have my winner, and I'll let you go first. But how do you think this is going to play out? And what do you think of this whole storyline right now?
I can't see Roman taking another L. So I think Roman and Jay get it. And I think that Seth is going to cash in.
Let's put the pencil on that. I got something for that.
We'll tap it later. We'll tap that
We'll
one
tap it
later.
later. But to me, and to me,
Hmm.
I'm picking Bronson and Braun Breaker to win this match, and I'll explain why later on in this episode. So we got for the women's tag team championships, we have Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez, the champions, taking on Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. Now, big ups to Raquel Rodriguez for this reason. Big sexy, Big Daddy Cool, Diesel, Kevin Nash, whatever you want to call him. I love Kevin Nash, by the way. I love Kevin Nash. He spoke out recently about Raquel Rodriguez and why she needs to not wrestle down. She needs people to wrestle up to her because of her
Hmm.
stature. Rather than her complain, oh, this old geezer or this old guy, what does he talk about? What is he talking about? He doesn't know what he's talking about. She took that advice and now she's looking like Big Mommy Cool, how she should have been looking the entire time.
Hmm.
I love it.
Same.
Now that being said, they losing the tag team titles. I don't see
Yeah.
them walking
I don't
out of
see.
New
Yeah.
Jersey. Nah, because I think this odd couple with Lexi and Charlotte is working. Now, I think this is the Charlotte Flair redemption tour. I think right now she's trying to find because she did say something recently about how she wanted people to see the other side of her, Ashley.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like obviously she did the Players Tribune a few weeks ago, which was, man, if you haven't read it, guys, I urge you to do that because it was some really, really deep stuff in there.
Hmm.
And I think her doing the pom poms, which is like out of place for her character for who she's been. She's been this dominant champion for almost
Hmm.
10 years, ever since her days at NXT, where the expectations was obviously because of who her dad is. So to me, we're seeing this other side of her, and I think the fans are starting to get behind it. And I totally see her and Lexi walking out with the belt. Your thoughts?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I love Charlotte, so I'm never going to go in Charlotte. But
Oh,
I
for sure.
think
Yeah,
that
yeah,
um, I think it's time. I think that she has taken enough L's and she's put people over where it's time for her to like finally kind of come back into that spotlight. Um,
right.
and yeah, I think it's time. So yeah, I'm with you on that one.
Yeah, definitely on that. All right. So we have the WWE Women's Championship, Tiffany Stratton and Jade Cargill. Now, is it me or has this version of Tiffany Stratton peaked?
Activity time's over. It has been the most uneventful title run. I think it's time for this to go ahead and wrap up. Um, do I think that it should be Jade to take it from her? No. Do I think Jade will? Yes. But like I think I'm bored. I'm bored.
Yeah, I'm not really, and this is no disrespect to either athlete, by the way. I'm going to make that abundantly clear.
Hmm.
But at the same time, it's like I can't help but just not be invested because they haven't given me much to be invested in.
Correct. Agreed.
Now, I did now granted, maybe because Tiffy just defended the championship a couple weeks ago at Evolution against Trish Stratus, which
Hmm.
I really didn't see, and they didn't really put any build to that match.
Mm-mm. That just was a random, like, hey, want to come fight? And she said, sure.
Right. And I did notice some heel tendencies with Tiffany, so maybe, just maybe, Tiffany might retain the championship by doing some underhanded things, grabbing on the rope, grabbing the tights, and getting out of there. I could totally see Tiffy winning winning this match this weekend at SummerSlam.
Hmm. She got to do something. If she wins, she needs to do something because I'm bored.
Well, yeah, and I mean, I think now they're going to have to really. If I would turn her heel, if I'm, Hunter, all the guys in charge, I would completely turn her heel, and I would start highlighting because remember when she was in NXT, she was the rich daddy's girl. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I would totally. I mean, what do people hate? They hate people with a lot of money and flaunting it. And if I'm them, I'm like, you know what? She's the champion. Send her out to New York City shopping at the most expensive, you know, stores. Send her out eating at the most expensive restaurants.
Hmm.
People waiting on her, hand and foot, but she's getting her name. All these. That's what people. That's why people hated the $1 Million Man back in the day.
Hmm.
He was rich and he put it in your face. And the fact that
Hmm.
she's still the champion and she's doing all that, I would totally do it.
Makes sense.
Yeah, but we'll see. Man, and listen, if they run with the idea, you know where they got it from. All right. All right, we're gonna get some sports entertainment going on right now. A premier tag team match with Randy Orton and Jelly Roll taking on Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul. Now, for those that don't know, as far as I know right now, Drew McIntyre is still stuck in Europe. Or
Yeah, I haven't heard otherwise.
yeah, he's stuck in Europe because I think he brought his European passport but didn't bring his United States passport. So right
Hmm.
now, he's stuck in Europe. I don't know what the quick fix might be. I mean, hell, why don't they tape a match over there? If I'm WWE, I'm like, hey, let's find an arena, a small arena, and just do the match over there. Again, I don't know, but as of right now, the match is on. Um, I think Jelly Roll's gonna surprise some people.
Yeah, he's been surprising this since. I mean, these little promos they've been doing, like he's sold, like he's doing. Yeah, yeah. You can tell he's working with the right people. I think Undertaker's training him, um, Jacob, and then Kevin Owens. I heard.
You know whose Jelly Rolls promo reminded me of on Friday night, last Friday night?
Mm,
Dusty Rhodes.
that's
Because
fair.
who did Dusty Rhodes represent? The common people, because he was the
Hmm.
common man. Dusty, I remember those promos in Mid Atlantic Championship Wrestling, or when he was down in the NWA, and he was talking about my hand is touching your hand of this gathering of people, when he was doing the Hard Times promo.
Hmm.
And I was just like, damn, am I listening is this Dusty reincarnated? Because man, he didn't. I mean, you literally, if I was watching wrestling for the very first time and I never heard music or anything like that, I would have thought that Jelly Roll was a professional wrestler.
Hmm.
He's not playing wrestler, and that's the
Hmm.
difference. He's not playing wrestler. He's not showing up, walking down the aisle for about 5 minutes.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. You know what I'm talking about.
Yes, yes, I do.
Yeah, yeah. Go back to the Kardashians, whatever. Anyways, um, Jelly Roll's not playing wrestler. Like
Yeah.
the fact that he said he wanted to be a professional wrestler, and music was just his way of getting out there to get back. Same thing with Bad Bunny.
Hmm.
Bad Bunny lived at the PC and again had one of the best matches that a celebrity's ever had. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? So I do see Randy and Jelly Roll getting the
Yeah.
dub in this one. You agree with that?
Yeah.
All right. All right, so what the match that I think is going to be the main event of night one is going to be for the World's Heavyweight Championship. We have Gunther, champion, defending against the Second City Saint, CM Punk. Now, of course, I'm a wrestling historian just like you are, and it just made me realize this is Punk's sixth World Championship match at SummerSlam. 2007, he challenged John Morrison for the ECW title, which I was there across the street at the Izod Center, where no one's using it now, but it's across from the stadium we're going to be at. 2008, he defended the world title against JBL. 2009, he won the world heavyweight title from Jeff Hardy. 2011, it was the WWE champion versus WWE champion with him and John Cena. In 2012, he defended the championship against John Cena and The Big Show. And of course, this weekend, he's going to be challenging Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship. So SummerSlam has been really good to Mr. Punk. Now, you alluded to something earlier. I'm going to sit back and I'm going to give you the floor of what you think is going to happen.
I don't think it matters who wins. I think that Seth is going to cash in. I think Seth leaves with the championship.
I do too. Now, there's many ways they can do this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm with you. I think this whole thing with Saturday Night's Main Event was planned. And what's crazy is that I don't know if you heard Goldberg's interview with Ariel Helwani. He said, I'm going to talk about this in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Now, I'm thinking contractually, he can't spill the beans, or they'll probably sue his ass, number one.
Yeah.
Number two, I believe they told him, here's what's going on. We got to do this.
Why.
This is why your thing is going to get cut, because we're doing this.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, it's business first. Mm-hmm. So I believe, because to make it a triple threat match, he did that already at WrestleMania 31.
Yeah, now we're good.
I think Punk wins. Punk wins the championship, and then Seth cashes in. Because remember, Punk cost Drew McIntyre the deal. Because who did Drew McIntyre beat at WrestleMania 40? He beat Seth Rollins.
Yep.
So, I believe that Punk is going to win the championship. And new World Heavyweight Champion, CM Punk. Burn it down! And, no, but what I think is going to happen is that before the music hits, I think that Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker are going to come down the aisle and just do a beatdown. Then Seth cashes in. Because they have a reason to beat him down.
Mm-hmm.
So, because I don't think they have a beef with Gunther. No, Gunther's a heel.
Yeah.
So, I think that's how that's all going to go down. And we're going to leave SummerSlam with Heyman, Reed, Breaker, and the new World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins standing in the ring victorious in all of their matches. That's why I was saying I think that Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker are going to win, because they're going to need that momentum.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So that's going to do it for night one. So far, you know what though? I like night one's, like, just the matches so far. You know what I mean? I like all the, I think I'm liking night one more than night two, but we'll see. So, as it was announced last Friday night, because I think on last Friday, they had put out all the matches. It was 6 matches on night one and 5 matches on night two. I'm like, wait a minute, there's no tag team matches. And what did they do? They announced that it is now going to be a 6-pack TLC match for the WWE Tag Team Championships. Now, 25 years ago, at SummerSlam, I believe it was in Greensboro, North Carolina, we had the very first TLC match with the Dudleys, the Hardys, and Edge and Christian.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's a nice homage 25 years later to the event and everything. They're going to do that. Now, I totally forgot that the Y6 were even tag team champions. I mean, no disrespect. They just haven't. Yep. Because on SmackDown, they've been promoting the tag team division a lot more than they have been on Raw, to be honest with you. So, and to me, I just think the tag team title should just be unified and just let tag teams go from show to show. I think it works better that way, but I'm not in charge. But to be honest with you, I'm thinking that we're going to have new WWE tag team champions. And they've been showing vignettes on these guys. I'm talking about Rey Fenix and Andrade. Your
Yep.
thoughts?
I agree. I agree 100%. I think that they threw them out last week as kind of a test. And
Hmm.
then like they're just everyone forgets because he was Mr. Charlotte Flair that that boy can go. Like before he had the
Oh,
Flair touch, like people have forgotten. I think his AEW time he was kind of washed, but like people forget that like he can go. Like him and Mello, granted it was overdone because it was like 18 matches, but him and Mello had
yeah.
really like people forget that that boy can go. So yeah, I would not be surprised, honestly.
I mean, if you want to talk about Andrade when he was Andrade Cien Almas at NXT, that now I was at Takeover Philly in 2018, the night before
Same,
the Royal Rumble. Oh, you were there too?
same. Yep.
I'm
That was
today
my
years old.
first WWE show.
Get out of here. So we were in the same building 7
Yep.
years ago and didn't even know it. Look at that. I that match with Andrade when he was the NXT champion and Johnny Gargano. Oh
Gargano.
my God.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that match was not going to end.
That match was amazing.
It was. And I mean, I was just saying, like, damn, if Andrade goes to the main roster, like he's going to kill it. And I mean, now that he's found his way, you know what I mean? And I think
Mm-hmm.
now I don't because me, I'm like, the Lucha Brothers are right there. But I think they see Penta as a major single star.
Yep. I agree. I agree.
You know what I mean? I mean him doing that little walk. Do, do, do,
Mm-hmm.
do, do, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I do think
I
eventually it'll get there, but not right now.
yeah, and I see why. I totally see why.
Yeah.
All right. So we definitely you agree with the new titles. All right. Now we have Dominic Mysterio and AJ Styles for the Intercontinental Championship. This might be sleeper match of the weekend.
Agreed.
I think we're gonna see because I mean, first of all, let side note. Of course, there was a AAA event over the weekend. The WWE had their show in Mexico on that Sunday. Dominic Mysterio does a run in under a
Mm-hmm.
mask, and that crowd went ballistic. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that was a test
Mm-hmm.
in regards to some future plans for Dom. Maybe leaving Judgment Day. I don't know. But I think that was just a test because they popped huge for him.
Mm-hmm.
And that was, again, that was a AAA crowd. Now, obviously, when it was the WWE crowd the next night, Dominic got the boos and stuff like that. So they kind of went along with it. But I don't know. I'm thinking AJ does walk out with the title.
Yes, I think AJ walks out with it because I think they're going to use Dom in AAA, so he won't be beltless for long.
No, because remember, he has that four-way match at Triple Mania, which is going to be shown for free, ladies and
Free.
gentlemen. That's right. Triple H just put out a tweet the other day saying that Triple Mania is going to be shown on YouTube for free. You know, because that was one of the questions. If I would have gotten media for for SummerSlam, that was going to be one of the questions I was going to ask in regards to the future distribution domestically and internationally for AAA wrestling because it's a market for it. You know what I mean? I
Mm-hmm.
mean, could you imagine if they were able to get that on Telemundo here in the state? Are you kidding me? Like that
Yeah.
would be huge, huge. But that would be interesting because there will be. I think it's going to be Vikingo, El Grande Americano, Dominic Mysterio, and is it Penta? Oh, Dragon Lee. It's Dragon Lee.
Yes.
Dragon Lee. Which I mean, that match is gonna just man, I
Be
can't
insane.
wait. I cannot wait
Yeah.
for that. All right, so we're gonna move on with that. So we're both agreeing that AJ is gonna win the title. All right. Now we have a steel cage match for the United States Championship. Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu. Now, to me, I'm torn because Solo just won this title.
Yep.
And it makes me wonder, well, who's going to show up now in the black hoodie?
And that's exactly where I was going with it. That's where I was going to go with that. I think it's time for someone new to show up in a black hoodie.
Who do you think it is?
Um, I don't know. I look forward to being surprised.
Now, keep in mind that Zilla is wrestling
It ain't
at
gonna be him.
House of Glory Wrestling Friday night against Bully Ray. And for those that
Yeah.
said, "Oh, him and Bully was beefing," I said, "Guys, they're working," and that's exactly what happened. They were working. They were working because they saw each other at TNA. And by the way, shout out to TNA for an incredible Slammiversary. That was an incredible pay-per-view. And we're going to be doing a lot more TNA stuff on this show as well as time is moving on. But I'm trying to figure out even now, like who would show up.
The bloodline runs deep. I'll say
Well,
that.
we haven't seen Tama Tonga in a while. Now, for all intents and purposes, he did get injured. We don't know the extent of the injury and the prognosis of how long he was going to be out.
Hmm.
So he's probably ready to go now. So that being said, because remember, I think he got hurt. Oh God, when did he get hurt? Was it before
Um,
WrestleMania?
yes.
It was definitely before WrestleMania. So I would imagine that it is probably going to be he's probably due to be back. So I could totally see him costing Jacob the match and Solo Sikoa retains. Do you have Solo retaining?
This is a match that I'm kind of in the middle on. I don't know.
Mm.
I don't really have. I don't know. I don't know. It can go either way. Hmm.
By the way, did you see Jacob's new merch?
Yes.
They're really feeding into his persona, man. Like
Never thought I'd see
he's
that on a WWE shirt, but here we are.
yeah. But I mean, here's the thing. We also had a shirt 25 years ago that says "Other Side Jackass."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Stone Cold had some pretty hard shirt. We had shirts that said "Suck it." I used to hear about kids getting in trouble wearing DX
Hmm.
shirts to school. You know what I mean?
Yep.
See, DX was crazy about DX. DX happened a couple of months after I graduated high school.
Gotcha.
So, so I missed all of that stuff. You know what I mean? You forget they weren't selling the Austin 316 until after I graduated high school. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
So I missed out on all that because I probably would have been sent home or something like that for wearing a provocative T-shirt. That PC world we lived in back then. All right, so we have no disqualification, no count out, and a last chance match for the women's Intercontinental Championship. So if Becky wins, Lyra Valkyria can no longer challenge for the title as long as Becky is the champion. I gotta ask you, Monday's promo with Lyra, what were your thoughts on that?
Got weird real quick.
That little dance thing that she did and she twirled
Got weird.
around,
Got
that
weird
was
real quick.
cringe city. Whoever wrote that promo for her, you need to be shamed. Shame, shame, shame. Because I'm just like, she was been on a roll with her promos. Who on God's green earth wrote that for her?
I don't think anyone wrote it for her. I think she got dazed or she got distracted, and that's what she went to. I don't think that was written for her.
Cause my God, cause can you imagine? See, luckily it was in a crowd like Detroit where it was the two hearts. Can you imagine if she would have cut that promo in Chicago? If she would have cut that in Boston? Or if she would have cut that in New York? They would have ate her alive. They really would have. Now, I saw the promo with Bailey on Monday and how she looked really dazed, confused about what her future is going to look like. I think they're planting the seeds for Bailey to turn heel.
Becky's a heel. Becky's a face right now.
No, what I'm saying
That's
is she's going to cost Lyra the match so she could
oh,
start
and
the
Lyra's
feud.
going
So
heel.
she's going to start the feud with Lyra, and then somebody else is going to step up to Becky. You know what I'm saying? So who name them? There's a lot of women on the
The
roster right
list.
now, right?
Yeah,
So my thing is okay, cool. Give somebody else an opportunity. So this gives Lyra and Becky, I'm not Lyra and Bailey something to do
yeah,
because now Bailey has a beef. You've been a thorn in my side ever since you got me. It was because of you. I'm teaming up with you at WrestleMania. Becky knocks me out, takes the opportunity from me. You know what I'm saying? Like all those things. Bailey has a gripe, and I think she's going to cost her. She's going to cost Lara Valkyria the match because, of course, being that she can't challenge for the match, now it gives her a reason to feud with Bailey. You can get
hmm
some mileage out of that thing.
hmm
A lot of mileage. Who do you have winning the match?
Uh, Bailey. I'm sorry. Becky.
You do
Becky
have Becky
Hogan.
winning? Yeah,
Yeah.
Becky Hook. The red and yellow man reference on the D-Lew podcast. Oh boy, I tell you. By the way, was it? I think it was that Evolution that she did come out in red and yellow. I thought
Hmm.
that was
Yeah,
quite.
she knew what she was doing.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we have a triple threat match for the Women's World Championship. Naomi taking on Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. First and foremost, I got to ask you a question. When at Evolution, did you expect Naomi cashing in on those two?
I don't think anyone expected it. I think they got us on that one. It's funny, well, it's not funny. I had like that was a long day for me. I had been at the arena since 2 o'clock. It was late. Y'all know I'm old. I go to sleep early. Um, I got like a really bad headache right before the main event, and I was like, man, I should just go home. And my husband was like, nah, like relax, like just if you. I mean, obviously, if you're not feeling good, go home. He's like, but like just stay. So I
Right, right,
stayed,
right.
and I'm glad I did. But I don't think anyone saw that coming, honestly.
That match, first and foremost, that match with Io and Rhea was like we're talking
Match
about
of the
match of
year
the
contender.
year. And just to think that we thought that the triple threat from Mania was going to be a match of the year candidate because that, I mean, they saved night two in the beginning of
Hmm.
the show. What did John Cena say many years ago? This pay-per-view was ass backwards. The main event is on first because
Hmm.
it was true, you know? So I like the fact that Naomi, because I was completely surprised. I didn't see any spoilers all night. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I'm driving home and I'm in my living room. This is 7 in the morning and I'm watching Evolution and I'm popping for this. I'm like, Naomi,
Yeah, we were
what?
texting.
I
Yeah.
couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, and she's the champion? Unbelievable. And I have a feeling that the same result is going to happen. That Naomi is going to retain the Women's World Championship. Now, I have a question for you. Bianca is nowhere near SummerSlam right now because
Nope.
has a
She's
hand
still
injury
hurt.
or whatever.
Yeah.
What if they're kayfabing that injury? And number one, she costs Jade the championship, and she also helps Naomi
I would
retain
love
the
to see it.
championship.
I would love to see it.
And now they could talk about how they orchestrated that whole thing.
I would love to see it.
A lot to uncover there. That would be some interesting storytelling there.
Hmm.
And maybe this could move Jay to Raw, and then we could start this whole thing all over again. So we'll see. All right, and of course we have the what I believe is going to be the main event of night
Yeah.
two for the undisputed WWE Championship, which is now a street fight. John Cena defending against Cody Rhodes. Um, I don't know about this match.
I do.
Talk about it.
I think that Cody ain't losing the big match twice. I think that they're not bringing this back for Cody to lose again. I think Cody wins. And I think that Truth helps him because you got to bring Truth back into somehow, right? He's got a listening party in Jersey, like he's around. Um, I can't see Cody losing this again. And then that's how we get Cena's like climb back in his revenge plot of trying to get the strap back. But I just can't see Cody losing again.
Yeah, because I'm thinking, wait a minute, Cena's in the middle of this heel. Now, by the way, this heel run is not working. I don't think it's working right now. I think number one, Cena is just so beloved. And I think the people that were booing Cena, back in the day, they're realizing now, yo, this is it. Cena's done.
Yeah.
And it's starting to hit them. My boy, shout out to my boy Brian Smith, who has the Watchers podcast, them and the crew, Corey J, Jules, it, Jason. Brian was telling me this maybe 10 years ago. He said, bro, he said, when it's time for Cena to hang it up, a lot of people that's booing him now is going to feel it. And oh
Mm-hmm.
my God, he was right. Because now
Mm-hmm.
everyone's really buying up the Cena merchandise. They're wanting to meet him and all these autographs and everything else. They're cheering for him
Mm-hmm.
because they're realizing this is it. Like you figure him and Orton are the ties to the previous era.
Mm-hmm.
They went from the Attitude Era to the Ruthless Aggression Era.
Hmm.
And I mean, once Orton's done, I mean, damn, that's a
Yeah.
generation in itself. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So that's why I'm thinking this whole heel run, and of course, it didn't help that a certain somebody didn't show up at WrestleMania. He
Yeah.
says he wasn't supposed to be there. I don't know. We can all talk about it till the cows come home, but it's just not working. So, does Cody turn heel in this match? Is it a double turn?
I mean, it's might be a double turn. I mean, they have Cody cheated to win that one match, right? Like, I don't know. I think it'd be predictable, but I also think it'd be time. So I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, because listen, we've seen a double turn happen in matches before.
Hmm.
Probably the one with Hogan and The Rock, which is probably the most infamous one. And that was really improvised by The Rock.
Yeah, would you consider the Bret Hart Stone Cold turn?
That's another one that was
That's
organically
another big
done.
one.
That was oh
Yeah.
man. And I mean, that was that was organic too, because Brett had been talking for weeks about he's being screwed. He's being screwed. Really going
Yeah.
back to the Royal Rumble '97, where Stone Cold threw him when the referees weren't looking, and
Hmm.
all this stuff happening. And he that was the first time that they had ever cursed on Monday Night Raw. Frustrated isn't a goddamn word for it. This is bullshit. And he lost his marbles. And then that's when the fans were really even. I could tell you this. When I was at Survivor Series '96, where Austin wrestled Brett the first time, I would want to say 35% of the crowd was cheering for Austin.
Hmm.
That first of all, that crowd that night was just on steroids because they booed Shawn Michaels out of the building. Like that was just bad. When he wrestled Sid, but you saw it coming where people were starting to really get behind Austin and his no nonsense attitude. And then, of course, the double turn at Mania 13 happened where Austin was in the sharpshooter, the blood's coming down,
Hmm.
and they're chanting Austin, Austin, Austin. And thus, he didn't turn babyface. The fans turned him babyface.
Hmm.
He became the biggest anti-hero in the history of wrestling. But that was a really good point about Austin Hart. So I think if they have the ability to do it, I think it's time. But for those that was saying, "Oh, I want Cody to turn heel," be careful what you wish for,
Yeah, I agree.
because we've seen that side of him before when he was on the independent circuit. You're gonna have some crying babies going home.
Hmm.
I'll leave it at that. But I think, to me, I was thinking that Cena was still going to win, but at this point, we just don't know.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
if you're doing you're choosing Cody, I'm going to choose Cena, and we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. You know, next Sunday night, this Sunday night, we'll
Hmm.
see. We'll see when it's 85 degrees. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, I looked at the AccuWeather forecast. There's no sign of rain. So it's going to be nice, sunshine. It's going to be tailgating. Busted Open is going to be over in parking lot F. How do I know? Because I listen every day at Pro Wrestling Nation 24/7 on channel 156, Sirius XM. Shout out to Dave LaGreca and the crew. They're going to be there. There's going to be a lot of podcasts out there. I'm not doing any podcasting. I may do some filming, but I'm really just going to just enjoy the
Enjoy the moment.
weekend as a fan. I'm taking my stepdaughter to meet Rhea Ripley on Saturday afternoon. She's really excited about it. She dyed her hair purple, not knowing that I had gotten her tickets.
I love that.
She had no idea that when I shot how I revealed to her, I said, "Hey, I want to show you something. You read something." And she's reading. She's like, "Oh, cool. What's this?" I said, "Oh, so you're gonna go meet Rhea Ripley?" She was just like, "What?" She's like shaking and she's hugging me and she's like, "What? Am I just gonna just shake her hand?" I said, "No, you're taking a picture with her." She just completely like couldn't believe it. So I'm excited that I get a chance to do that. I'm not take She's like, can you get in the picture? No, it's only for you. Technically I can, but I'm not doing
It's
that.
just a
That's
gift.
listen, I
Yeah.
said I got a picture with Rhea, I got an interview with her. I care less about that. But that's gonna tie the bow on SummerSlam. So it's crazy. Let me ask you a question though. Do you think it's oversaturated that they're doing two nights for SummerSlam? Do you think that it's WrestleMania is losing its prestige? Because Mania, obviously, it's that's a reason that you have that as two nights. But do you think that they're kind of overdoing it with two
I
nights for
have to see
SummerSlam?
how it plays out. I'm not sure. I feel at first I felt like yes, but I kind of want to see how it plays out before I give a formal opinion on it. I don't know. We'll see. We'll
All
see.
right. Well, before we get out of here, as always, let them know where they can find you on social media, where they can listen to Lip Gloss and Ladders.
So you can find me on social media at Hi Gabrielle, and you can find us at Lip Gloss in Ladders on all social media.
Well, like I said, they are killing it. Like if you need a laugh, if you need, you know, the woman's touch, because like I told you, these are four intelligent women that are talking pro wrestling, and they bring in so many elements of pop culture. I mean, they made an Aretha Franklin reference when they were talking about when Aretha Franklin was talking about Taylor Swift, and she was like, yeah, nice gowns, nice gowns. So if you don't get the shade in the comment of nice gowns, you gotta read the room a little bit. So whenever they say something like nice gowns, they might be throwing a little shade, not disrespect, but just a little shade, a little bit. But they're very entertaining. I enjoy listening to them. They do incredible work, and I'm rooting for them to go to even greater heights than where they're doing today. So like I said, Gabby, thank you so much for all you continue to do for the D-Lew podcast. And we'll definitely be revisiting SummerSlam very, very soon. Well, that does it for this week's edition of the D-Lew podcast. Thank you, Gabby, for all you continue to do for this show. Your contributions, to the D-Lew podcast, again, never ever goes unnoticed. And thank you, thank you, thank you for all that you continue to do. Ladies and gentlemen, whether you subscribed, or you listen to the show without subscribing, do me a solid. Hit subscribe on all platforms, okay? Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, and of course, my YouTube channel. You could go on YouTube, look up Derek T. Lewis, the D-Lew podcast, or the real DT Lew. You can make sure you hit the bell. Okay, when you hit the bell and you hit all, so you get all notifications whenever there's new content on my YouTube channel. So, for example, when I brought up the three AEW videos that I did when I was covering All In, that's exclusive to YouTube. That will not be on my podcast feed. So whenever there's something special, there's something happening on my YouTube channel, you will get notification because you hit that all, and make sure you hit the bell and you hit all for all notifications. You can follow the D-Lew podcast on social media, okay? All social media platforms at the D-Lew podcast. You can follow me on all social media platforms at the real DT Lew, with the exception of Facebook, which is Derek T. Lewis official page. You can hit up my pro wrestling tee store where there's some pro wrestling themed t-shirts over at pwt.derricktlewis.com. And of course, you can hit up the official Derek T. Lewis merchandise store at shop.derricktlewis.com, where you can get the exclusive Nike collection on my store. Make sure you do that. Well, I'm going to get out of here. And as I always say, no matter what it is you do in life, always remember to make it count. And if you're going to be in East Rutherford this weekend, I'll see you at SummerSlam.